guys. I'm fine. Today we're going to be learning what zodiac sign houses are. So, each zodiac rules each zodiac rules one house. So, yep, each zodiac sign rules one house. For example, Aries rules the first house of self. Now we're gonna be learning about all these 12 houses. By the way, these houses represent. By the way, I'm also gonna tell you how the zodiac signs interact with these houses. So let's start. Aries rules the first house of self. This represents you. This represents yourself. This represents your goals. This represents everything about yourself. Now, Taurus, the house of value. Taurus, the house of Taurus rules the second house of value. Taurus rules the second house of value. And this house represents your self-worth, self-value, what you're worth and all that. It also represents money, because money has a value. And like, it represents the value of everything, y'all. Gemini. Gemini rules the house of communication. Communication means talking, so Gemini rules the house of talking. This influences the way how you talk to other people and yeah. It also represents your style of talking. Cancer rules the fourth house of home. Home means how Cancer rules the fourth house of home. House. Okay, y'all? Wait. Leo rules Leo rules the fifth house of creativity. Virgo rules the sixth house of health. Libra rules the seventh house of partners. Scorpio rules the eighth house of intimacy. Intimacy. What is intimacy? So guys, intimacy represents connection. So yeah. By the way, guys, the eighth house also represents transformation and connection. Yep. Sagittarius rules the ninth house of exploration. Capricorn, reading what? Capricorn rules the 10th house of career. Career means job and responsibility. Aquarius rules the 11th house of friendship. And Pisces rules the 12th house and the last house of spirituality and religiousness. All the 12 houses control something about yourself, but they don't control it on their own. They control it with the help of planets. That's right. That's right. Whichever planet is in whichever house, it controls that. For example, what should I give as an what should I give as an example? Let me think, guys. Wait, I'm gonna pause. For example, Venus is in your second house. Second house is ruled by Taurus. Second house is ruled by Taurus. The second house is the house of value, and Venus represents money. So if Venus is in the second house, it represents money. It also represents that you're going to become very, very rich at some point of life, or you are rich, or something like that. So yeah, by the way, to know what the planets mean in houses, find out the meaning of the planet and the meaning of the house. For example, Venus represents money. The second house is of value. So Venus in second house represents money value. You can also, by the way, the houses also represent the areas of your life, the stages of life, and all that. So, if Venus is in your second house of value, it represents that you're gonna be you. It represents that you might be very rich in your life. So, I'm gonna give an example here. For example, alright, I found an example finally. For example, Cancer is in your third house of communication. Let me just draw Cancer symbol here. No, 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 no. Not that, not that. For example, the moon is in your third house of communication. So, for example, Venus is in, for example, moon is in the third house of communication. The moon represents, oh yeah, the moon represents care and the moon represents care. The moon represents nurture. Nurture is a fancy word for care. So the moon represents care. Care, C-A-R-E. The moon represents care. And if so, and the third house represents communication, and the moon represents care. So this means that you talk very caringly in a very caring manner if the moon is in your third house. For example, let me give some examples of my own. As you can see, this is my birth chart. Wait, I know this looks hard, but don't worry, I'm gonna teach you all how to read birth charts when later. So for example, the moon is in my third house, so it means that I talk very comfortably. And the sun is in my second house, which means, so for example, the sun is in my second house. This represents that I will be very rich in the future and I attract money, and this also means that I will be very wealthy and I will attract abundance and prosperity in the future. So yeah, and the Mars is in my fifth house, and the Mars is in my fifth house. That's another example. The Mars is in my fifth house. And the fifth house is of creativity. And Mars is the planet of anger and energy. This represents that I'm angry or I get angry easily most of the time when I'm making DIYs or being creative. It can also mean that I become energetic that time. And and planets are not the only thing that can be in houses. For example, Leo in first house. Now again, you calculate this the same way you calculate the meaning of planets in houses. For example, represents Leo represents pride, happiness, and ego. Sorry, Leos. But guys, just because Leo represents ego, doesn't mean that Leos are ego, okay? It doesn't mean that Leos have a lot of ego-ness. They're actually very kind people, and they have a lot of pride within them. But that pride gets mistaken as ego. So yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, for example, your Leo, your Leo is in your first house of self. This means that you are you have very much pride and you're also very confident and a natural born leader. If you have Aries or Leo in your first house, then it means you're very confident and you're a natural born leader. But if Cancer is in your first house, then it represents that you are very nurturing, very caring, and a very nice person. If Cancer is in your first house. Let's take some of my examples. So as you can see over here, I have Gemini. As you can see over here, I have Gemini in my first house. This represents that I am very chatty. This represents that I never shut up. And this represents that I love talking and I never stop talking. And this also represents that I have a lot of ideas for talking. It also means that I love arguing. I mean, it represents that I love talking a lot, and it also represents that I talk a lot. So basically, Gemini in my first house means I talk a lot. So yeah. And let's see, Libra is in my sixth house. The sixth house is of health. This means that, and Libra represents balance. This means my health will be very great and very balanced throughout my life. Seventh house is of Sagittarius. Sagittarius represents wisdom, and seventh house is of transformation. So it means that I transform through wisdom. And yeah, wait, what is the seventh house of? No, guys, the seventh house is of partners. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. So anyways, the seventh house is of partners, aka relationship partners. So it means that my partner is most likely to be a Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius sun, Sagittarius moon, or just have a Sagittarius placement anywhere in his or anywhere in her planetary sign. Bye.